Hello, everybody. Welcome to my podcast. My name is Adam, and I'll be your host. On this podcast, I'll cover 4 different topics: the NFL, NBA, NHL, and lastly, the CFL. This podcast will mainly cover Vancouver based teams like the Canucks, the BC Lions, the Seahawks, since they're just across the border, as well as the NBA, just generally since we don't have our own team. Let's get started. First off, I'm going to start with the NFL, specifically the Seattle Seahawks, since they're just south of the border of us. Last Sunday, the Seattle Seahawks played the Atlanta Falcons in a 34-14 victory for the Seahawks, bringing their record of 4-3. This was a great game overall, since before this game we had some troubles with the offensive lineman and our defense wasn't playing great either. I really do think this game was a step in the right direction for us, since in the past 2 games we've been struggling with the run defense and the pass defense overall, but just limiting Kirk Cousins to 232 yards, 1 touchdown, 2 interceptions was 100% a success. I really think getting Byron Murphy back from injury was huge, since we're now 4-0 with him in the lineup. He was our 16th overall pick last year. It's definitely turned out to be the right pick. We did have Tariq Woolen out, though, which was a huge loss. He's definitely been one of our best defenders, one of the best defenders in the NFL so far this year. Our defense still stepped up, though, recording 2 interceptions with Julian Love and Kobe Bryant. On the other side of the ball, I think we played really well. Geno Smith played great, throwing 2 touchdowns, 207 yards through the air. And Kenneth Walker, obviously, in my opinion, our best player, with 14 carries for 69 yards and a touchdown. He also got another touchdown through the air on a diving catch in the corner of the end zone. It was a great throw and a great catch. Though he struggled throughout the season with drops and penalties, DK Metcalf came up huge, recording 4 receptions for 99 yards and a touchdown to end the first half. He also caught a big play from Jackson Smith and Jigba over 2 defenders making a diving catch. That was a huge play to set us up, I think, for a field goal back then, but DK just owned A.J. Terrell, especially with that one-hand block for Kenneth Walker's touchdown. I do have Drake London in fantasy, though, which was kind of a disappointing sight because I thought he would feast on this defense who's given us some huge yards to receivers lately, but he still had a touchdown in the third quarter to bring it to a 2-score game. Even though I do hate rooting for the other team in fantasy, it's different this year since I'm paying for a league with my friends. So, I gotta start locking in. Can't drop to 3-4, which I did because of Marvin Harrison on Monday night. But that's a whole different story. So, to recap that game on Sunday, I think it was just good overall. I think everyone played pretty solid games. They really did need that. And looking forward to next week against the Bills. It should be a great game. Josh Allen and all those guys, James Cook, Dalton Kincaid, and now the new Amari Cooper for them. It should definitely be a tough game. I think Kenneth Walker will have another huge game since Buffalo's run defense isn't the greatest. Except last week they did stop Tony Pollard, who had a pretty mediocre game going into that one, who I also do on my fantasy team. But he's projected a lot more yards. And Buffalo actually did play pretty well last week defending the run. But I think Kenneth Walker should and will have about 110 yards, maybe a touchdown or 2. But, man, I think it'll be a great game. Got DK Metcalf out, which is pretty concerning. Well, I don't know if he's for sure out, but he's spraining his MCL, which isn't a good sign. Should miss probably this week, maybe another one. So I see them just handing the ball to Walker and Charbonnet a lot. Guarding it out, getting him some yards and touchdowns. I think it will be a defensive battle in a way. Since if our defense steps up, we'll win the game. I'm confident in that. But Buffalo obviously has the MVP frontrunner in Josh Allen, in my opinion. I think it'll be fun to watch. I'm a pretty big fan of Buffalo since I like how they play. They're well coached. They're good defense. But before we switch topics, as of today, Wednesday, October 23rd, the Seattle Seahawks have made a trade to acquire Ernest Jones IV from the Tennessee Titans in exchange for Jerome Baker and a 4th-round pick. I really do like this trade since we got a very good run stopper, since Jerome Baker hasn't been really great at stopping the run lately, and the 4th-round pick isn't too concerning since Tennessee, I think they're very interested in some picks now, just kind of rebuilding their team. And so a 4th-round pick shouldn't be too bad in the long run. Jerome Baker played pretty well in week 1 actually, but ever since then he hasn't really been able to stop the run, which is a huge thing for our defense. And Yeah, I think this is a good improvement, great trade for John Schneider, but I don't see them being finished. I think they're going to acquire someone else. I really don't know who, but yeah, I think they're going to be active at the deadline. Maybe another old lineman, because definitely been struggling, especially Anthony Bradford and Stone Forsythe, who's been put in the IR as of today. But Mike Jarrell definitely stepped up. So um, our run, our O line has been getting better. It's looking that way, but it's still not the greatest. So I really do hope they acquire someone to help Kenneth Walker's run lanes and protect Geno Smith to make it a little bit easier on him. Now it is time to flip the sport to the NBA, which today is the second day of the season. Yesterday was the first, with two games going on between the Knicks and the Celtics, and the Lakers and Timberwolves. I did watch both of these games. I really did have higher expectations for the Knicks and Celtics game, since I'm a pretty big Knicks fan now since they acquired Mikal Bridges in that pretty blockbuster trade. I expected it to be a pretty high scoring game, close game, but it was not at all. After the first quarter, it was about a 20-point deficit in Boston's favor. Jason Tatum hit like 7 threes in the first half, and Boston should have. They tied the record, but they should have broken the record for most threes in a game. They chucked like 15 shots at the end and didn't make one. But just an embarrassing effort by the Knicks on defense. Just everyone on the Knicks didn't step up that last night. Especially Mikal Bridges in the first half, who's getting a lot of criticism lately for his shot change, which is weird since he's been an elite shooter ever since he's been in the league, but he kind of changed his form, and he's been really struggling in preseason to start the first half, but he did finish the game very well, shooting 7 for 13, ending 7 of 8 for his shots, with 16 points, which is a very good sign for him. Another new member of the New York Knicks, Karl Anthony Towns, made his debut. He didn't play great either, but like I said, nobody else really did. Jalen Brunson played pretty well. Not as good as he usually does play, but 22 points isn't bad. But yeah, everyone in the Celtics was hitting threes, especially Tatum and Derek White and Al Horford as well. Somehow, the 38-year-old was cooking the Knicks, but I think this is just, you can't overreact too much. It's the first game of the year. Everyone's just getting back into it with the new additions. Obviously, the Celtics are the best team in the NBA coming off a championship. You can't look into this too much. Just got to regroup. Look to Friday against the Pacers, which is a huge game. Very excited for that one. Halliburton and Siakam and Turner. That'll be a very exciting game. I'm definitely confident in the Knicks winning that one, but should be close. A rematch of the Eastern Conference semifinals, I'm pretty sure, last year, which the Pacers took. Now for the late game last night, Lakers and the Timberwolves played. I wasn't expecting too much of a game. I thought the Timberwolves would have taken it pretty, not lightly, but I thought they would have won. They did not. Lakers actually won by, I think, 7, but they were up for double digits for most of the game. But a very, very cool thing that I think everyone saw last night was LeBron and Bronny playing together for about 3 minutes, like a subbed out. That was very cool to see. I don't think that's ever happened in the game of basketball. Both Ken Griffey and Ken Griffey Jr. have done it in baseball, but never in basketball, and especially in these days, in this day and age. It's bound to go viral, and yeah, everyone's it's I think JJ Redick just kind of did it on the first game, just get it out of the way, so it wasn't kind of a lingering talk with the Lakers when is Bronny gonna play. But I don't think he's gonna play too much after last night, going into these next few games, maybe a little bit, but I think he kind of just put him on there just to get that talk out of the way. Just put it past them so they can set up their future season. But Lakers did look very well. Anthony Davis played great. He's been very good on opening nights lately. I don't know what's up with that, but definitely a good sign for Lakers fans to see him balling out. On the other side, the Timberwolves didn't play great. Anthony Edwards is kind of disappointing last night in a way. Shot a lot of threes, didn't make many, but it was a whole team effort, and nobody really stepped up too much. I expected more out of Dante DiVincenzo and some newer guys like Julius Randle as well, but obviously it's their first game as well. You can't expect too much. Um, I think the Timberwolves will be fine this year, possibly a top 5 team in the West, most likely will be, and I think they have depth to make a playoff run this year, but I don't know if they have it all. I don't know if they have enough talent to win the whole thing. I'm not too confident in their depth overall, but I do like the Timberwolves. They're a good team, and they should be exciting to watch in the future. Now flipping over to the Vancouver Canucks, who started off the season not great, 0-1-2. 3 losses to start of the season after last year's deep run isn't a very good sign, but they did bounce back, winning 2 straight, now going up to 3-1-2. So definitely a big resurgence there. It was a sigh of relief there, just seeing them win these last 2 games in pretty convincing fashion. But one player that has not been playing great is Elias Pettersson, who definitely needs to step up after all the money we've given him. We know what he's capable of. We've seen it, and one of our best talents on the team for sure. He can score goals whenever he wants, but that really hasn't been the case in the last 40 games. I think he scored 1 goal in the last 40 games or something like that. It's just paying him $8 million or something like that. I don't know. I can't remember what he's getting paid, but something around $8 million, just for him to really not start the season great, not end last season great, is not a good sign. I'm confident he'll get his swagger back and start playing great, but it's concerning in a way, since the Canucks, they really want to do something special this year. They need everyone to start playing well, like Elias Pettersson. Obviously Thatcher Demko back if they want to really, do something this year, but that's a weird injury. You don't really know what's happening, but to take his spot, you got Kevin Lankin, who's been playing great. I think he's 2-1 this year, with 2 wins over the Blackhawks and the Flyers, and the loss over the Flyers at home. But yeah, he has been great. He's a very, very good signing by Patrick Allvin. I think it was $875K, which is definitely a great choice there for what was seemed to be a third stringer. Has definitely stepped up. Has definitely stepped up to the level that we didn't really expect, which is huge for us. But definitely injuries to Demko and Dakota Joshua are huge for the Canucks, since they can't really do what they set out to do, and what they're possible of with these guys on the bench to not even play a game yet, which is concerning. You had Dakota Joshua coming back, and I think maybe a week or 2. And Demko, you got no clue of, but they really need him back as quick as possible, just to get this team settled and get them to the spot they want to be. Someone who I haven't really been seeing much praise of lately is Kiefer Sherwood, who they signed from Nashville in the offseason. He's leading the league in hits with, I think, 44 so far. 33 of them come in the last 3 games, that's unreal. Definitely a fan favorite, or he will be eventually. You need guys like that in the playoffs, since we've lost Zadorov and a little less physical, but adding him was huge. Very underrated pickup. He can score the odd goal and pick up some points when needed, but definitely his physical ability is something I really needed, and they value for sure. Going forward, he, I think, can be a big key factor on this team. Just hopefully he stays healthy and helps the Canucks in the playoff run. The Canucks have an interesting schedule going forward. With on Saturday we play the Penguins in Pittsburgh to continue this long road trip. against the Hurricanes on Monday and the Devils next Wednesday. That'll be the first game at home in about a few weeks. And then after that, we'll go back on the road to the California trip against San Jose, Anaheim, and Los Angeles. I don't know if they will beat the Penguins. I think they should, but I feel like we usually have trouble with them. Hurricanes, really good team. Will be a tough battle for sure. I don't know if we can take that. I'm confident in beating the Devils, Sharks, Ducks, and Kings. All very good teams, but I think we are the better team in those ones. So definitely going to be interested in watching those. All of our next 6 games are all at 7 o'clock or 7:30. So for all the Eastern people watching the games, it'll be tough. Staying up till 1 a.m. to watch the Canucks is definitely not a great decision in my opinion, but yeah, it might have to be done. So finally, I will be going over the BC Lions in the CFL playoffs, which is around the corner in about 2 weeks. It'll start. BC Lions started the season off 5-1, but since then they've been struggling, ending the season off 9-9. Definitely a disappointing end to a very promising start. Ending the season 4-8. Definitely not what was hoped for by the players and the fans, but sometimes that does happen, and making the playoffs is all that matters. The sad thing is the Lions don't get a home playoff game unless they make the Grey Cup, which is in Vancouver regardless. But the storyline lately has been who will the Lions play at quarterback in the Western semifinal. And it was looking to be like Nathan Rourke, who they signed off the practice squad, who they signed from the NFL, who was a quarterback in 2022. And he's been playing inconsistently lately. The recent controversy of who the Lions quarterback is going to be in the West. This upcoming Western semifinal has brought some controversy to who the Lions are going to start at quarterback. You have one option in Nathan Rourke and one option in Vernon Adams Jr. Before last week, Nathan Rourke was probably going to start the Western semifinal, but Vernon Adams played last week and had a huge game, putting up around 400 all-purpose yards, which is going to make him the starter in the Western semifinal in 2 weeks. I think they're both very good options. In my opinion, I think Nathan Rourke is the better quarterback, but Vernon Adams probably has it going with the receivers and probably should just finish up the season doing what he started to do at the start of the season, which he was on pace for 5,000 yards. Should be interesting. Still waiting to see who we play either in Winnipeg or in Saskatchewan. Really doesn't matter. You're going to have to go through some harsh weather and some good teams anyway. So, it's just, they got to beat whoever they face. That's the bottom line. Today, it's been announced that the CFL award candidates have been released. Each team has released their top 5. Each team has released their top player for each award. And I think for the most outstanding player, it's going to come down to either Bo Levi Mitchell, Justin McInnis, or Roland Milliken Jr. In my opinion, they all are great players. I think every single person nominated for MOP has a fair chance to win it this year. Other past years have been pretty obvious, or obviously the top 3 or top 2 are going to be. But this year, I think it's anyone's award. I think next week actually might be pretty important just to see what people can do. I think Bo, stats-wise, looks great, but he got benched mid-season. Also, his team is one of the worst in the league. So that's definitely a minus for his MOP case. You got Justin McInnis, the Canadian receiver for the BC Lions, has been playing great this season, breaking records left, right, and center. But it kind of slowed down after Vernon Adams got hurt and Nathan Rourke came in. Still leading the league in receptions, yards, and all that. But it's just, he isn't consistently producing like he used to. He was on pace to break a bunch of records after, I think, week 7 it was. But without Vernon Adams, his yards went down. pretty significantly. I think he's at 1,400 as of today. Justin Hardy of the Ottawa Redblacks may pass him in receiving yards, and I don't think that really matters to any of them. It just they both want to make playoffs and both have good runs. Now Saskatchewan got Roland Milligan, the DB special teams player who's leading the league in special teams tackles. I think he's second in interceptions and overall tackles. He's up there. Just a great defender, great player. I think one of the best defenders in the league for sure. I think him and Tyrese Beverett of the Montreal Alouettes both have very good cases to win the most outstanding player, but I think Milligan does have the edge over Tyrese Beverett in this situation, just from just sheer turnovers and special teams and all the aspects he dominates in. Beverett, definitely a great player, getting a bunch of interceptions, knockdowns, and I think he's second in the league in tackles. But I think just overall Milligan has the edge here, and it's anyone's game. Your bet is as good as mine of who's going to win it. You also have Brady Oliveira from Winnipeg, and I think in his words is having a somewhat disappointing season. But it's tough because there's no obvious answer in Brady Oliveira. He has 3 touchdowns in I think 16, 17 games he's played with because he's had some injuries. But up to week 15, he didn't have 1 touchdown, which is weird that you're going to consider for most outstanding player when your first touchdown came in week 16. But yards-wise and efficiency-wise and all that, he's definitely up there. Is, in my opinion, the best running back in the league. And is he the best player in the league? I don't think so. I don't think he should win. I know Bombers fans definitely think he should, but I just don't think he's the best player in the league. And most outstanding player, in my opinion, should go to Roland Milligan of the Saskatchewan Roughriders. I think he is the best player. I don't think he's the best player in the league. I think he's had the best season, in my opinion. I think Nathan Rourke is the best player in the CFL. He just had a pretty disappointing season, but that's kind of to be expected the way he came in. So it's really interesting to see who's going to win what. There's other awards other than most outstanding player, which is the one I'm just talking about right now. There's most outstanding rookie, most outstanding defensive player, and special teams and all that. But obviously, most outstanding player is the main. Everyone really wants to know about that one. I'm interested to see the most outstanding rookie award this year. I think there's very good candidates. You got Nick Anderson from the Elks, top 3 tackler this year as a rookie, which is very impressive. You got 3 receivers who have been tearing this league up when they've played at Khalil Pimpleton for Ottawa, who's, in my opinion, a top 10 receiver in this league, but he has had some injuries. You got Ontario Wilson from the Bombers, who's been really great in the absence of some injuries like Dalton Schoen. And you also have Shamar Bridges for Hamilton, who, in my opinion, is going to win the most outstanding rookie. But he is out for the season. He got hurt in, I think, week 18. Tigers were going to miss the playoffs anyways, but he's put up a great season, and I think he should win it. With all that said, that'll be it for the rest of the podcast. This is just the first episode. It's about 25 minutes long. Definitely in the future it will be longer, but just getting my feet under myself and trying to be the best I can in this definitely will improve over time. I also am sick, which is, I don't know if you can tell by my voice. So it is a bit of a struggle trying to talk for this long, but it should be better next week. And if not, I'll see if I can do it, but definitely want to produce the best content I possibly can. Also for next week and the next, 30 weeks or whatever, I'm planning on doing this, something like that. I will have guests to speak about every single 4 topics, just not with me the whole time, since that might be a little bit, not boring, but I would say repetitive in a way, just to spice it up a little bit, get some arguments, some rants going, some debates, and Got some guys that really are passionate in what they want to talk about, and I think it'll be cool just hearing different voices in different sports throughout these next months coming up. So that will be it for this podcast. I will see you guys next Wednesday. I record these every Wednesday. I'll try to post them whenever I finish, but definitely won't confirm that it'll be going up every Wednesday. I'll try my hardest though. I'll see you guys next week. That'll be it. Bye.